Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Max with BuzzTox here, and I am back with a His Dark Materials Season 1, Episode 4 reaction and review, where I give my initial thoughts and feelings about this episode, as well as my predictions on what will happen next. Just a heads up, I'm not going to be going into book spoilers. I'm only going to be basing my predictions off of the things that we've seen within this plot and this episode. Now, I actually really like this episode, because it really focused on Lyra's journey, and it's really starting to build the groundwork on why she is prophesized to be the chosen one. Because not only can she read the alethiometer, she has a great judgment of character, and she knows how to use people to obtain her goals. Which makes sense why she's prophesized to betray somebody. She's very good at getting what she wants, much like her mother, Miss Coulter. And we see her abilities through many scenes as she tries to acquire each new ally to help them fight the Gobblers, or the Magisterium. And the first person they seek is this man who has a connection to a witch, who Farder Karam knows from his past. And what I like about this is we find out later in the episode that this witch was actually his wife. They had a child together and they mourned the loss very differently. And this is the first time where Farder Karam kind of takes a step back, and Lyra gets a good judgment of his character and ends up presenting him the alethiometer and actually showing him that she knows how to read it. And this is something that Lyra constantly fights back with Farder Karam. Lyra believes that if she doesn't trust anyone, she's not going to go anywhere. Whereas Farder Karam is very worried that she's trusting people too easily. But I think looking back, she trusted her mother, Lady Coulter, and in some ways has learned her lesson. And we see later in this episode that she knows how to manipulate people to get what she wants. Or she has a good enough judgment of character to provide information to push her to her goals. So after she proves himself to this man, he gives her a key that basically connects her with this witch. We later see that Farder Karam and John Faw connect with this witch's demon, and this demon swears they will follow them into war. So that's one ally that has been won. The second is the aeronaut, and this is a person named Lee Scoresby. And this was our introduction to his character, and I actually really loved his character. And I think the show did a really good job at conveying this character and really rationalizing why Lyra would see him as a trustworthy person. If you look at him and how he interacts with his demon, it is night and day different with how Miss Coulter interacts with her demon. Miss Coulter refuses to give her demon any affection, whereas we can see the relationship between Lee Scoresby and his demon is a really deep-rooted friendship. And he even uses his friendship to explain a bear's relationship with their own armor. And in these interactions, we see Lyra almost size him up. She calls him out on the bear, but then pulls back, withholds information, because she doesn't know whether she can trust him yet. But then when push comes to shove, Lyra steals all of his bacon and convinces him to help her save the bear, Lorik Byronson. She says that she represents the Egyptians, and the Egyptians want his services. But really all of that is the lie to understand what Lorik the bear wants and how she can achieve it for him. And we see the same interactions with the bear. When she goes to visit Lorik Byronson with Farder Karam, she is the first one to act in a dominant way. She calls him a coward, where to Farder Karam that is an insult that could get her killed. To Lyra, it's an intuition that she uses that actually, you could argue, ended up resulting in Lorik fighting back even harder to get his armor. And then she gives him that. She provides him the information with the alethiometer, which she knows how to read very well now, and ends up providing Lorik his armor while also saving people who work for the Magisterium. So this episode, they ended up getting a witch, a bear, and an aeronaut on their side to fight the Gobblers and the Magisterium, all because of Lyra's intuition and knowledge of the alethiometer. And I think like this episode, we're going to see in the future more and more Farder Karam and John Faw sitting in the background and just letting Lyra make her own decisions and make her own choices. Because even after John Faw and Farder Karam said it was impossible to get the bear, Lyra ended up doing it, really validating the prophecy that she's the chosen one. And this is going to be very important moving forward in the story. We saw at the Magisterium that Lady Coulter manipulated the council from firing her by capturing Lord Asriel using armored bears. She now holds Lord Asriel. She was able to retain her position of the General Oblation Board, but now she has access to their hidden alethiometer, where she asked it one question: who is Lyra Bellicra? And judging this question on face value, I think it has a lot less to be about where is she from in her bloodline, because she should know she's her mother. but more about her soul. Who is she? What does she represent? Is she more of a Lord Asriel? Is she more of a gobbler? What type of individual is she? And that explains why Miss Coulter wanted to mold her so much. And that's the secret to Lyra, is she's just going to mold herself from all of her lessons and all of her experiences. And those lessons and those choices that Lyra makes is going to further lead herself and the gobblers in the right direction. Of course, Lyra got Lorik, the armored bear. He used to rule over all the armored bears. But her mother, Miss Coulter, framed Lorik and put a new armored bear in charge as king. And that's why they hold Lord Asriel. So I think in the future we're going to see Lyra with Lorik Byronson go fight for his place as king. And if Lorik becomes king, he's loyal to Lyra. Right now the current king of the bears wants to be baptized to become a member of their religion. And that he would be the first bear in history to do that. And I think that's a really interesting connection to draw between the two characters. Miss Coulter and her daughter Lyra are actually very similar. In their own ways, they're both very manipulative and they can get what they want. They're very intelligent and intuitive. But one thing I would say is that these people are a slave to their experience. Even though these people are so similar, they're living different lives. Miss Coulter has had her life and has experienced tragedy, and that's shaped her into this broken soul. Maybe that's why she can't have a relationship with her own demon. Whereas Lyra has relied on herself and her demon Pantalaimon to get her out of everything. She's been alone, isolated, and now she's seeing the world through her own eyes and she'll be shaped through it. So I think these characters are so similar, the only thing that's different is their surroundings and their experience. And I think it'll be funny seeing in the future them battle it out. Because of course Miss Coulter goes for the bears, and so does Lyra. But now after getting all these people, naturally they're going to head further north. Lyra now knows that they hold her father, Lord Asriel, captive. So it's going to be her mission to try and rescue her dad as well as pursue north to try and save Roger and the children. And we see in this scene she's looking at the northern lights and she can also see a city in it. She has the ability as a child to not really see dust. And it's clear that this is another key where you can look into another world. It mimics the credits where worlds are over top of each other. So it's clear that Lyra is going to interact with this at some point. And we can see the storyline mainly through Boreal. He has a portal, basically, where he's going and jumping between worlds. He's trying to learn a lot about this man, who is a human on our planet who was found dead in their world. And in this episode, in order to understand more, Boreal blackmails this man because he knows he has an alethiometer and asks a simple question. He wants to know and find what this person discovered. He wants to know how he discovered it. So we'll find out in later episodes how the man who ended up dead that Lord Asriel found ended up there in the first place. But anyways, please let me know what you think about this episode and what you expect in upcoming episodes. But that's it for today. Until next time, see you guys later.